Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the brand new Abyss just came out yesterday, and we haven't really done many Abyss runs using our brand new Ineffa, so you know what, I figured now is the perfect time. Now, since there is a Lunar Charge Blessing on the first half right now, instead of going for example, a Novelet team with Ineffa as a support, or an Arlecchino team with Ineffa as a support, instead we're going to be running a on-field Sucrose as a driver for Lunar Charge, and hopefully Ineffa will be our main source of damage. To pair alongside her, we will be putting up Furina as well as XIlonen for the res shred to increase our Lunar Charge damage, as well as give us some healing as well for Furina Fanfare. And then finally, of course, the woman herself, Ineffa, or the robot herself, whatever you prefer. And then for the second half, we're just going to go for a Varesa hyper carry team, well, Varesa dual DPS team alongside Mavuika. So these are going to be our two teams. All limited characters here are C0R0 with full builds being at the end, but with that being said, let's just hop right into it. Alright then, and you know what, we're just going to go ahead and pick up the healing effectiveness buff, just so that when we use XIlonen's heal we can build up more fanfare, because you know, single target healing isn't ideal for fanfare generation, so at least like this we can generate a bit more. Anyway, let's swap into our Sucrose on field, and we're seeing some pretty decent Lunar Charge damage already. That's wonderful. I'm just realizing now that I forgot to use XIlonen's heal. Actually, you know what, maybe on second thoughts I should have saved it for... Actually, no, you know what, that's fine, that's fine. We'll just build up a bit more fanfare here as well. To be fair, fanfare actually doesn't really matter in this team. It mostly only matters for Furina. The main thing about the healing is it prevents us from staying permanently at half health from Furina's E, so that is also cool as well. And then, I guess it buffs some Ineffa ult damage as well, seeing 57k there. We're seeing about 60k sometimes on Lunar Charge, which is kind of insane. Now, of course, we are getting shred from Sucrose, both being on Viridescent as well as XIlonen's res as well. So I think we have like 76% res shred right now on Hydro and Electro if all things are going well. So yeah, that's pretty damn insane to think about. Okay, if this one comes over a bit quicker, that would be ideal. We did manage to swell there on Sucrose's ult as well, which is nice. Yeah, about 52k there on some of our swells. Very, very impressive, I will say so myself. Yep, there we go. We had a 60k Lunar Charge right there. Now, like I said, of course, there is a big Lunar Charge damage buff right now in this current Spiral Abyss. But once there isn't, you can go back to using Ineffa, because you know, you don't really need to use her on field. Or sorry, I'm not using her on field, but she's kind of like the main damage source in this team alongside Furina as well. So yeah, and then instead you can go to, for example, a Arlecchino or a Novelet hypercarry team, or of course Flynn's when he comes out. So yeah, I'm just very excited for the future. Nod Cry has made me very, very opportunistic for what is going to come in Genshin. I also think that the quests we got in 5.8 were some of the best we've had in a really long time. The Ineffa quest was pretty damn decent. I also thought the Dainsleif quest was great. I actually really like the Dainsleif quest. It's actually one of my favorite quests, which is probably my favorite quest since Fontaine, even though it's not that long of one. So you know what, we will definitely go ahead and take those. So yeah, like I said, very, very much looking forward to what Genshin has in store for the future. Anyway, we are about to clear here, which is very nice. We can go ahead and face tank here with Mavuika, because of course we do have Chevreuse and Iansan's healing, and then also her own interruption resistance. So yeah, perfect. And that's the first chamber gone, basically without a problem. And now let's move on to the second chamber. Alright, and here we are on chamber 2. I could grab the max HP buff for Furina, but I think I'm just gonna grab the crit buff. Even though both Mavuika and Varesa are basically at 100% crit rate, at least I'll get a bit more crit damage, and then, you know, Ineffa builds a bit of crit as well, and then Furina can deal with a bit more crit, so, you know, I'm not as, you know, super happy to see crit as I normally would be, but you know what, we'll just take it either way. Anyway, let's go ahead and use Ineffa's ult here for some extra supplementary damage. Just go ahead and finish out this wave as well. There we go. Perfect. So that's 3 down already. That's what we like to see. Refresh the skill here. And then actually remember to use XIlonen's ult as well. Will be pretty nice. And now let's go ahead and EQE. And then basic attack some more. Xingqiu could be nice here as well for his rain swords when he attacks for a single target. But Furina's personal damage is just pretty damn solid, and then also she has some very fluid rotations as well, so I do actually prefer using Furina here as opposed to someone like Xingqiu. Anyway, let's just clear out some people here using the ult. Okay, it's just this single guy left, and then I believe we have some Ruined Drake not, maybe not. Actually, you know what, I've fully forgotten how these guys are called, slightly embarrassing. Anyway, go ahead and refresh our skill on Ineffa as well. And now we can go ahead and ult as well, so we have some nice sustain. So if we go ahead and look at some of the Lunar Charge damage, we can see there some 58Ks, yep, quite a few 58Ks, 41Ks, very nice. Go ahead and ult as well, I believe that was 90k to all our targets on Ineffa's ult, and we should be able to get close to a 90-second clear here. Unfortunately, this guy wasn't the subject of as many of our hits or Lunar Charge damage as the others. He was a bit further away than the others, so unfortunate. But either way, we still clear in a bit over 90 seconds. Which does, of course, bring us onto the second side now. Just apply a bit of Electro on this guy and then use our hold skill on Thingy. And we actually managed to get off Iansan's ult as well, which is nice. So once this guy does go down, we will probably be able to do a bit more personal damage on Varesa to him. There we go, like so, perfect. Okay, and we had Iansan's buff throughout all of that, very nice. Let's go ahead and refresh our buffs once again. Maybe Mavuika ult can finish this guy off. Not quite, but you know what? We can just go ahead and do that. Perfect. Okay. And now we do have the Terra Shroom as well. 109k there on the Varesa ult. We take that 78k, 100k, 99k. Once again, there is a Night Soul damage buff in this Abyss, so do take some of these damage numbers with a slight grain of salt. Just go ahead and spin around some more as well. Although I must admit, seeing these plunge numbers on Varesa are very satisfying. I just need more Farazan cons so that we can actually do the same thing on Xiao, because even though I spent so long trying to get Xiao, as well as many wishes, it took me like 320 wishes to get Xiao, because I lost the 50-50 to him twice. Actually no, wait, sorry, no, 240 wishes to get Xiao. So yeah, Varesa gameplay very satisfying. We're also very happy with how Ineffa's run went, and with that being said, let's move on to the third chamber already. Alright, and here we are on the third chamber. We will go ahead and pick up the attack buff. It's very useful for our second half team as well as for our Ineffa. Let's go ahead and use our ult. Okay, okay, I think the hat went to the left. I'm slightly lost right now. Okay. Oh god, my mouse's DPI was just freaking out. You know what, I'm just gonna say it's this guy. I believe it is, you know, I'm not 100% certain, but I think so. Okay, yeah, it is perfect. Okay, we guessed correctly, that's nice. So yeah, make sure you keep track of the hats, don't lose track like I almost did there. Okay, I believe this is the perfect time for us to refresh our rotation. Okay, we were like a few seconds up because we could have had a full rotation there, but that's fine. Once again, let's go ahead and proc the healing on our XIlonen. Now we can go Ineffa ult as well for an extra 96k, nearly 100k, very nice. Also gives our Sucrose a bit more EM. We're seeing 68k, 42k on the Lunar Charge, which is very crazy. And this guy's HP bar got absolutely shredded as well. I just need to hope he doesn't go into his stalling mode again, because I swear sometimes Spiral Abyss just becomes the stalling Abyss, or stalling hell, more like it feels. But I believe we should be fine here. Let's just go ahead and brute force this with our Lunar Charge stuff. Yeah, this team actually pretty damn fun to play. Now, like I said, I'm not sure how good it's going to be when Lunar Charge damage isn't getting buffed, but we managed to clear there in under 75 seconds, which is very nice. So yeah, like I said, very happy with Ineffa's performance. Like I said, when we get more Notcry characters coming out, when we get more Notcry sets, then oh my god, I have very high hopes for this unit, especially with Flynn's. I basically pulled Ineffa just so that we can have a best in slot team for Flynn's, because there's like no way that he won't end up being a Lunar Charge DPS. So yeah, anyway, with that being said, we can go ahead and continue on with this run here as well. This is one of my least favorite bosses, if I'm being entirely honest. I feel like the DPS windows just aren't incredible, but what can we do? Let's just go ahead and do some more Night Soul damage. Now we can switch into our Varesa, 50k there on the hit, 100k there again. Okay, he's probably gonna do his pillar spawns soon. Honestly, what I normally end up doing is I just do our setup right before he spawns in the pillars, just because otherwise I don't feel like we have enough of a DPS window. Anyway, also XIlonen's very good for this as well, but I'm just using Mavuika here because obviously we have her on the team as well. 240k there on the ult as well, and then doing damage on our Varesa on top of that. Our buffs did run out there because of course we did have to do them slightly earlier. So what can we do there? Anyway, let's just go back into our Varesa, do a bit more damage, progress this guy's bar a bit more as well. Nice. And then we can go ahead and move ult whilst this guy's still kind of down. I believe that counted. We'll have to wait and see later. Anyway, let's do our setup again. And then spawn in Mavuika's bike. Okay, and now we can go ahead and take all this stuff out again, like so. Boom, bop, and this guy is dead. So there you go. We managed to clear the brand new floor 12 of version 5.8. Pretty easily, honestly, if I say so myself. So we'll definitely go ahead and take that. With that being said, let's move on to some final thoughts, character builds, as well as the outro. Well then, as you can see, both teams felt pretty good to play. I'm also very happy with how the Ineffa team felt to play. You know, it was very flexible, very fun. Now, of course, would it be as strong if there wasn't a Lunar Charge buff? No, but if there wasn't a Lunar Charge buff, you could pair her alongside a proper main DPS such as Novelet or Arlecchino, or just whatever else you want, to be honest. Chaska as well is a possibility. And then, of course, when Nodcry comes out, I'm sure we'll be getting many more teams for her, including someone like Flynn's. I'm sure the Flynn's and Ineffa team is going to be absolutely insane, and I cannot wait to pull for him, because he is my one of the favorite Genshin designs I've had in a long time. Probably Zhongli, Wriothesley, and Flynn's are my top 3 Genshin designs. But anyway, with that being said, let's just hop real quick into the character build, starting off with our Ineffa on 71 crit rate, 165 crit damage, on the R5 Missive Wind Spear. For the artifacts, she is just on 2-piece EM, 2-piece attack. Of course, she will be getting her own signature set when Nodcry comes out. So we're just stacking some EM attack as well as crit, trying to get a bit of energy recharge in there as well. And then for the constellations, once again, C0 with 199 talents, although probably could crown the skill at some point. And then when it comes to our Furina, 64 crit rate, 193 crit damage, 222 ER. For the weapons, she is on a Fav sword as well. And then also Golden Troop, of course, double crit as well as HP crit. Once again, C0 with 210 talents. When it comes to our Sucrose, she is on 742 EM. Our stats here don't really matter, although she does have 164 EM, 164 ER rather. Mapamare R1 as well. And then for here, once again, just try and stack as much EM as well as ER as we can. Triple EM on Varesa, and of course we get a lot of red shred for our Lunar Charge damage. She is also C6. And then talents 144. Her talents don't really matter all that much. And then finally our XIlonen as well. 2.5k defense as well as a little bit of crit as well as ER for Fav as well as her ultimate. And then of course Syndicity, although honestly that's only buffing Furina in this case rather than Lunar Charge damage. And then she's also on triple defense. Constellations, once again C0 with 6, 10, 8 talents. And then finally when it comes to our second team, Varesa is on 103 crit rate, 175 crit damage with a level 90 Lost Prayer as well as artifacts on the Long Night's offset as well. And then Constellations, C0 with 10, 6, 10 talents. When it comes to our Chevreuse, she's got a little bit of crit for Fav, a little bit of ER, 3 point. Does she not have a weapon? Actually, no, wait. Yeah, she does. Never mind. I was gonna say she's got 29k HP as well. And then artifacts, once again, Noblesse as well, just to buff the attack of both our Varesa as well as our Mavuika. Constellations, C4, so no C6 Chevreuse. And then when it comes to our Iansan, 31 crit, 210 ER, 1.7k attack right now, level 80, Fav Lance as well, artifacts. What the heck happened to our Iansan? What the... Okay then, apparently we don't have Cinder City on Iansan? Oh, okay, Pyro Traveler stole it for Stygian Onslaught. Okay, that's what happened there. Okay, I did not... I thought the attack was a bit low. Okay, whoopsies, I guess, then. Awkward. So now we're on Cinder City. Now we have 2.3k attack. So our second half run could have been even quicker if we actually had a functioning Cinder City set. Slightly awkward. C2 as well. So now C6 Iansan and then 1, 2, 10 talents. And then finally our Mavuika is on 60 crit, 242 crit damage as well. She is on a Serpent's Line as well as Obsidian Codex with double crit. And then also just, you know, regular Mavuika stats, 1, 8, 10 talents as well as C0. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know how you're finding the current not Memory of Chaos, Spiral Abyss. Also let me know your thoughts on Ineffa. How much are you enjoying her so far? With that being said, next time I see you guys on Genshin will probably when Nodcry releases. Hopefully Flint Summit, but we'll have to wait and see. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next time, or Lama as well. Depends who's first off. But yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. See ya.